A very warm good evening to all of you. Welcome to the 152nd session of CENTA's webinar series for teachers. I hope all of you are keeping safe and staying healthy. The topic for today's webinar is guiding students for new age careers. And the facilitator for this session is Miss Swati. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. A brief introduction about our facilitator, Miss Swati. She is an engineer by luck and an MBA by choice. She completed her electronics engineering from IIT Delhi in 2013 and went on to work in the business field at a top multinational business consulting firm, Bain and Company. A few years later, she did her MBA from the prestigious Wharton School in US. She has also been passionate about education and has led business roles at many edtech companies, including Plural Site in US and White Hat Junior in India. With all her learnings, Swati ma'am is now an entrepreneur and founder of Softplay, a venture that helps students in grade 8 to 12 find their perfect career fit by experiencing 50 plus high potential careers on its mobile app. At Softplay, Swati ma'am has mentored and guided many students across India on potential new age careers that can get into based on their interests and aptitude. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. Before I hand over the session to you, to ma'am, I would like to inform all the teachers that they will be receiving the participation certificates for the session. So please do fill out the feedback form that will be shared with you towards the end of the session. Over to you, ma'am. You need to share
Thank
the
you.
screen, ma'am.
Yes,
Share
yes,
the
yes.
screen, ma'am.
Yes, just doing that. One second. Yeah, just 1 second. Thanks, Harsha. Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. It is.
Okay, awesome. Hi everyone, a very warm good evening from my side. I'm Swati, and thanks Harsha for the warm welcome and the introduction. So I'll just detail out a little bit more on what Harsha said. Right, I call myself an engineer by luck and an MBA by choice, and that's because when I chose to become an engineer, I didn't know much what engineering was. Right, parents said, "Beta, just become an engineer," and I was lucky and fortunate to get into an IIT where there were plethora of opportunities. So I did my engineering from IIT Delhi, but in my first year of engineering, I realized that hey, this is not something that I would want to do for the rest of my life, right? Now, when you are in IIT, you're very lucky that you get so much opportunities that you can pick where you want to go. And I chose to take up a business role in a multinational company, and then went on to do my MBA in US, came back to India, and did multiple business roles. Right. However, not everybody gets that opportunity to switch, right? And my mission and vision for Softplay and in life is that future generations should be more and more aware of the different career choices upfront, so that they're very careful of what they're choosing to study and use that to build their successful careers later on and lead very happy adult lives, right? So that's my introduction. Before I proceed further, I would just like to say that, in case you have any questions while I'm presenting, feel free to send your questions over chat. And Harsha, if you could help me, with the questions by interrupting me, I would love to answer them during the slides itself, right? Great. Harsha, shall we get started with the presentation? Harsha, am I audible?
You are audible, ma'am. Sorry. You are
Yeah, am I?
audible. You can go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. Great. So, I think the first question that some of you might be asking is, why am I here, right? Because this is around career counseling and not really just about teaching. Now, the reason I'm here because you are the ones who are shaping our future generation, right? As I said, that my vision for Softplay and in life would be that our future generation should be more careful and more aware while they are choosing about very important decision of their life as to what they want to do. And you are the one person beyond family who plays a very very important role, right? You're not just teaching the student, but you are a mentor, you are a life coach, you are a role model to the student. And especially in the teenage years, right, when they're looking for advice, they're looking for emotional support, I think teachers are the one that they go for, who is a friend as well as a guide. So that is why I think it's very very important for you to know about these careers so that you can guide them when the time comes, right? Now, few facts about the scenario of careers and what is happening in today's world. You will be surprised to know that 85% of teenagers who are in the age where they actually have to choose about their careers, they're confused about the right career option. They Most of them know only about a handful of options, 5 to 7, whereas in reality they have around more than 250 plus options, right? So the awareness of what they could pick doesn't exist, right? Now, that is one. And second is this confusion is amplified because there is very low exposure to real world careers and new emerging careers in school, right? Now, what happens is in the school, we talk about subjects, we talk about math, science, history, geography, right? So they understand the world in terms of subjects. But suddenly, when we are asking them to choose a career, we are talking about design, we are talking about entrepreneurship, business, architecture, biotechnology, things that they haven't understood yet, right? So it's very difficult for them to match these subjects to the careers, and that's where the whole confusion lies, right? And that's what we're trying to solve at Softclay by making that connection between the subjects as well as how they lead to potential careers, right? That's the idea. Now, just if why I'm here talking about new age careers, right? What is this new age and why have careers changed over time? Now, when you and I were in school, right, and when we were in grade 10, we were in grade 12, we had very limited options, right? If you were good at science, you would probably go pick up engineering or pick up medicine, right? And if you didn't want those options, then you would probably, people will ask you to take up law or go for governmental services like UPSC and all of that, right? So we were very very limited, 4 or 5 options that we had. Now today, in the world of smartphones, in the world of social media, the kind of jobs, the successful careers that exist are multifold, right? So if I were to just take few examples of successful careers today, you look at UI UX design, right? Now people who design apps, all the apps that you use on your smartphone, right? There are millions of them, and they're designed by UI UX designers, a career that didn't exist 10 years back. Then social media marketing, all those ads that we see on Insta, on YouTube, a career again that didn't exist probably 10 to 15 years back. Biotechnology, content writer, YouTube journalism, none of that existed 10 to 15 years back, right? So suddenly, with this smartphone technology, with the world and the content coming online, there are so many careers that have come up, for which probably even the higher education system is not ready. But these are the jobs that our future generations are going to do. So how do we prepare them, and how do we even make them aware that these jobs exist, right? And that is the reason why today is the time when more and more is the need of knowledgeable career counselors who can guide these students, right? Rather than superficial knowledge, we need counselors who are aware of these professions, who are aware of the scope, opportunities, courses, colleges, and who can guide the students based on their strengths and their aptitude, right? Some of the facts I wanted to share with all of you: 92% students don't get any career related guidance from their schools, right? Which you would know. I mean, a lot of schools do have counselors, but a majority of them may not even have it, right? Now, India, if you look at our level of population, on the ideal basis, India needs around 1.5 million counselors for 300 million students, right? That's a huge deficit of counselors. Recently, you would have known that CBSE has partnered with UNICEF to provide guidance to 21 million students. So, huge impact here to become a guide and a counselor to the students, because there is a huge gap that needs to be filled. One, because it didn't existed, but second, also because the careers have multiplied over the last 10 to 15 years. I would like to take some of the examples of what these new age careers are, so that you understand them, and accordingly you can help your students understand them as well, right? One of the leading examples of new age careers is the UI UX design. Now, what is it? Now, all of us, right? We have all used apps like Uber, Myntra, Zomato, Swiggy, right? All of these apps, when we say, hey, technology is the future and coding is the future, even before an app is coded, an app is designed, right? And that's where creative people who are amazing at their design skills come into the foray, right? Now, these are design apps. The leadership level salaries here go up to 50 lakh to 1 crore per year, right? Educational path is through design careers, right? So again, something that didn't exist 15 years ago, today every startup, every company that you talk to will have a good UI UX department with around 20 to 30 people there, right? Similarly, social media marketing. Now, all of us use social media. We all use Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. But in the last 10 to 15 years, what has changed is that earlier we all were sitting in front of our TVs and billboards, and we were watching all of us were watching the same ads, right? It doesn't matter whether it's a 10-year-old child or whether it's a 45-year-old corporate person, right? But today, these social media ads can customize who's seeing what. We all see different ads based on what our preferences are, what our likings are, right? And that's again something that's done by social media marketing experts. Huge shift in terms of the career that existed 15 years back versus now. Another example, I'll ask a question to the audience. How many of you have watched Shark Tank India? Type in yes or no if you have, or if you haven't. Okay, great, great. Now venture capital is the career in which people invest in startups, right? Now here, if you ask me, 10 to 15 years back, there wasn't a lot of startups that we were hearing about, or a lot of money that we were hearing about going and people investing in startups, or people even starting up their own businesses, right? The ideal job path was to join a big company, which was a multinational company or a large Indian corporate, Tata, Birla, and all of that, right? But today, people are starting up, and for every investor, right, across foreign countries, India is the country where they want to invest, which has led to a career called venture capital, where people analyze different startups and invest, and the returns are much much higher, right? Again, huge salary levels and a new career that has emerged. Now, a lot of you would have also heard about being a YouTube influencer, right? Could you, if you are following a YouTube influencer, or if you are a YouTube influencer yourself, would you want to type in yes or no in the chat, please? No. Okay. Okay. Great. Great to know. Now, this again is a career that today's teenagers are considering. Now, this is not just about, I would say, just creating videos on YouTube, right? It is also somewhere related to journalism. In the old days, people would switch on news channels, right, and watch news there. But today, most of the youngsters get their news from either YouTube or any of the social media like Twitter, etc., that they're following. And there are people, journalists, who have their own channels on YouTube with millions of followers, right? So it is also morphed into a new way of journalism where people are putting in factual, unbiased, and research oriented facts, where they are educating people. They are also a lot of times influencing their followers through their opinions, right? Again, YouTube influences on a lot. Not a standard educational degree requirement, but this is somewhere related to, I would say, mass communications and journalism. And the last one on our list, right? I would say again psychologist, right? Psychology was not a very hot subject choice, I would say, 10 to 15 years back. But today, a lot of successful careers are emerging out of psychology. In the past, nobody would talk about mental health issues, right? It was a taboo. No professional help was sought. We would only consider our health as our physical well-being. But today, there are companies only and only focused on mental health, right? And people recognize that, hey, a lot of celebrities have come out and talked about depression, right? So people understand that this is also a health issue. And there are psychologists helping people overcome their mental health problems as well, right? Again, if somebody goes through this route, huge opportunity. So that is why the whole talking around why new age careers, and probably being a counselor is something which is very difficult, because every 5 years the kind of career opportunities, the kind of jobs that your students would be going out for are going to be very different, and you need to stay updated, right? Now, the question is, if it is so difficult as to keep yourself updated with, hey, every 5 years what is changing, what are the opportunities that the students should be pursuing, then how can teachers guide the students, and how can students even experience these new age careers? Because you really can't have a student go and do an internship or a project across all these careers, right? That will be too much to ask for and too effort and time consuming. So we came up with a way where, in a very fun and simulation way, just at the click of their phone, they could experience different careers. So I'm gonna just play a video to show how it works and how teachers and students can benefit from it. Let me just take a minute and play it. Well, that was really fast. So I'm gonna just explain a little about what this is, and what we do, right? So Softplay is an app which enables the students to experience multiple careers and identify their strengths and weakness, or at the click of their phones, right? So if it is student, when the student logs in, they can understand 50 plus high potential new age careers through fun and experiential simulations. Now, to give you an example, when the Russia Ukraine war happened, we created a simulation and made students understand what economic advisors do, right? Or when a Zomato IPO was launched, we made a simulation and made students understand what venture capital or investment banking people do when an IPO happens, right? So we take real world examples, convert them into experiential simulations for students, for them to understand what professionals life looks like, what kind of decisions they make, what kind of responsibilities they have, right? Now, the second is access to topmost professionals. most of the weekends we organize webinars where a topmost professional, whether it's an IS officer, whether it's a doctor, whether it's a fund manager, right, they come and they talk about what their day in a life looks like, right, and they act as an inspiration for students get a chance to connect to them, to ask them questions across different fields, right, so that gives an perspective to students. And then third, students have access to right courses, right colleges, right, we provide that database where they can look up the right colleges and courses in a focused field, right. Now what do the counselors or the teachers get out of the platform, right? A teacher can see their students' interest and aptitude scores. So, as the student does their simulations, as the students goes through a module of a career, the teacher can exactly see what the students have done, what the interest score of the student is, what the aptitude score of the student is, and accordingly, based on these scores, what is the best match career opportunity for the student, right? Second, the platform offers an upskilling and revenue generation opportunities. Now, if you're a counselor on the Softplay platform, you would regularly get upskilled, and you will get to know about what the latest courses are, what the new age careers are, and where the scope and opportunities lie. At the same time, you will have revenue generation opportunities where your services are behind a paywall, right? So when a student of yours are coming, you can choose to charge them for your services, for conducting sessions for you, and so on. And third, you will have 24 cross 7 support for student queries related to career guidance, right? Now, I have seen a lot of counselors getting these unique queries, right? For example, hey, I want to become an Air Force pilot. How do I go about it? Or hey, I want to do a marine ocean related course, right? And how do I go about it? Now, when students come up with queries that you don't have answers to and which are not mainstream, we have 24 cross 7 support for you to answer those questions to you, so that you can then guide your students properly. So that's what the software provides. Now let me give you a few example of the Sunday webinars that we have done on the student side, right? So we had Garma, who is an IIT Bombay graduate. She is an expert of public market investments. She invests million of dollars in the US stock market, and she came and talked about what a fund manager is, right? What does it mean to invest in a stock market? And it's not a gamble, it's a very calculated analytical job that she does, and she talked about the whole educational path, the skill set that you need, and so on. Now Vivek works at as a product manager at a cryptocurrency startup, and cryptocurrency is the hottest topic which a lot of us don't understand. Even I don't understand it fully. He came, talked to the students about what different crypto currencies are, and why is it even a big deal, and what's so new. How is web 2.0 different, and web 3.0 different, right? So those kind of things he talked about. Ankita, again, an MBA from Wharton School, has run leadership positions at HUL. She talked about what does it mean to be leading a business and growing a business, especially when it's a category which is very very established. And then Ravi, who works at Google in US, talked about what his life is as somebody who's working at Google, right? So these are the people, kind of people who come and talk about their careers, and answer students' questions and act as inspiration for the software students. Again, going ahead on our team and board of advisors. Now, I have already given my introduction, so I'm the CEO of Softclay, but I would also want to pinpoint on the board of advisors that we have, right? So, if you have watched Shark Tank, then you would know Ghazal Alag. She was a Shark Tank India judge, and a very very successful entrepreneur, co-founder of Mama Earth, a brand that many of us would have used. And then Karan Bajaj, who's the founder of Vita Junior, the online coding company. Again, he's on our board of advisors, right? I will pause here in case there are any questions related to the material that has come up, or I can just go ahead and talk about what are the steps that you can follow to associate with us and help your students with career guidance. So Harsha, should I go ahead with the steps, or do you wanna pause for the question answers?
Ma'am, you can go ahead with the steps, ma'am. We'll
Okay,
take up the
sure.
questions at the end of the session. Yeah.
Okay, great, great. So let's go ahead with how can you help your students with career guidance, because I'm sure that if you are a teacher to a student above the grade 8 and so on, right? I'm sure you're getting questions about, hey, how should I start thinking about my colleges, or which kind of career should I take, right? How do I even know what I want to do in my life, right? So I think the very first step, if you want to help your students, is to register for interest as a counselor with Softplay. Harsha, if you could just share this form in the chat, so that people have access to, right, the form link that is here. If people
I
can
have done
fill
it,
that
ma'am.
form, that will help us understand if you're interested in onboarding and getting trained as a counselor with Softclay. Now, what will happen once you get trained with us? You can choose to charge the students for counseling services, right? So, most of our counselors charge their students around 3 to 5,000 rupees. And the app is structured in a way that the student sees, the students can schedule sessions with you, and it is behind a paywall, so they have to pay and then schedule the sessions with you. Now this price is completely decided by you, and we charge only a one time 500 rupee platform fee for every student that we get from you. So you will have a referral code. We will know that the student is associated with you, and you get access to all the information, the report of the student and everything. And you can choose to charge whatever you want to charge them, ideally 3 to 5,000, making a revenue opportunity for you as well, while we have a one time 500 rupee for every student. Now that's the registration process. Now what happens after the registration process? Once you fill the form and indicate your interest, we onboard you to our training certification program, right? So you earn the training certification with Softclay, as it's an online certification. As part of that, you understand about different careers through real world simulations on the Softplay app. So you go through all the simulations that the students are going to go through, because it's important for you to understand what the kind of content that they are going through, and what the different careers are, because you may also not be aware of all those careers. And then you gain knowledge and access to tools on different careers, their scopes, opportunities, and top colleges, right? So you get knowledge about all of them, and you don't have to remember everything, because you get access to tools where you can pull up all the information that you need to be able to guide a student properly. The third step is to get any student that you have who is looking for the career guidance. You can ask them to onboard the app with your referral code, right? That's very important, because then only we can map the student to you, and they can see you on the platform as their counselor. And they can also, you can get access to their reports and all their data. Now, once the student is onboarded on the app and the student has experienced those simulations, experienced the content on the app, you can, the student as well as you can see the interest and aptitude scores on the app, right? So you have access to what the interest score in each profession is, what the aptitude score is, and accordingly you can guide the students. We can give you what the best match careers are, what the low match careers are, and so on. Then you guide the students on relevant courses and colleges based on what their interest and aptitude score is, given the app simulations. And the fourth is obviously 24 cross support to answer any student's queries, right? So if you end up facing a question that you don't have answer to, you throw that to us and we get back on answering those questions. So those are the steps that you need to follow. We'll pause for the questions, but I just wanted to close with the slide here, saying that you can fill, absolutely essential that you fill this form to get a customized link of the app for your students, so that you get your referral code, you get the customized link, And this is the barcode that you can scan to open the same form. If you're not able to type or copy the form, that you can just scan the barcode here. And after the session, in case you have any questions, you can reach out to us on email at contact@softplay.in, or you can WhatsApp us at the number here. So I just wanted to leave everybody with that slide. I'll stop. I think a very, very big monologue. So I'll pause here, and in case we can open the floor for questions, Harsha.
Definitely, ma'am. There is a question from Nidhi, ma'am. She's asking what is the training fees?
Sure. So we take a refundable deposit of around 5,000 rupees. This is completely refundable. So once you get you give like 5,000 rupee refundable deposit, you do the 8 week training program with us, and you get certified as a software trainer, and you start earning on our platform. Then we refund this 5,000 rupee to you.
Thank you for that answer, ma'am. Reply. There is one more question by Lakshmi Sen Gupta, ma'am. She is asking, please let me know new careers in the field of economics. My students do not wish to follow the routine ones.
Mhm. Sure, absolutely. Now there are many, many options out of economics that have come up, right? Like some of them, which are very, very new, are in the field of, I would say, finance, right? Which is in investment banking is one, private equity is another, and then venture capital is the third one. Now, why I'm saying that these are the new ones is because earlier, when you think of economics, you would think of, hey, becoming an economic advisor, right? Or ending up doing a PhD and then kind of advising the governments, or becoming a professor, right? But today, when you are thinking of investing in any business or in any geography, you need to make sure what the macro factors are, right? Like, for example, a lot of investors today are investing in India, not particularly in any business, because macroeconomically India just makes sense because China is restricting innovation a lot, right? So I would say all the investing related businesses, whether it's private equity, investment banking, or venture capital, are all new age careers that a economics graduate can go into.
Thank you for the reply, ma'am. There is Daniel sir from Ghana. So he's asking, can he be the part of this particular program?
Absolutely. Most of our content is geography, I would say agnostic. Though, yes, a lot of our simulations are built keeping Indian current affairs in mind, but we are anyway going global. So, absolutely, if you fill up the interest form, you can be part of the program as well. Not a problem.
Geetu Sharma is asking, role of Max in career choice. Kindly advise.
Role of math.
Yeah, career
Okay.
choice. Role of
Okay.
Max in career choice.
Yeah, so a lot of students ask me this question, hey, can we do without math in 11th 12th? Will that restrict your our options? The answer to always that is that, hey, if you're looking for math related careers, then it will restrict your options, right? So if somebody is not taking math, some of the careers that they cannot take in future are engineering, architecture, or I would even say business management and finance, right? But if it is somebody who is very, very creative, the person wants to go into design, or the person wants to go into mass communications, they can live without math. They don't really need to do it, and not taking math will not hamper their career choices in any way.
Thank you for the reply, ma'am. Timing for the training. One of the teacher is asking about the timing for the training, ma'am.
Absolutely. So the timing of the every weekend we take around 2 hour, 1.5 hour to 2 hour session every weekend. Now the exact timing will depend on the cohort. We have a cohort size, and depending on when everybody's comfortable, we do it. But usually the time would be, I would say, morning 1.5 hour on either a Saturday or a Sunday, right? We do it on the weekend.
Yeah, thank you for the reply, ma'am. Again, Daniel sir from Ghana, he's asking, can we have the program outline for the training? So, He's asking about the outline for the program. Yeah.
Absolutely. So once you fill in this form, right, we'll send you the next steps over email. So make sure that you're giving in the form, you're giving your email IDs to us, and we'll send you the complete details on the training, the outlining, right? When does it start? What is the process? Everything, all of that.
Thank you for the reply, ma'am. Arpita ma'am is asking what is the scope of earning if a child does BA?
What is the scope of earning if the child does BA? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Arpita ma'am, right? That's what you said.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Arpita. I think the scope depends in India. Fortunately or unfortunately, the scope depends on the college that you do it from, right? So if it is a BA from an SRCC or an LSR in Delhi University, I would say there is a huge scope about it, because when companies come and take students, they most of the time they don't differentiate what the course is, right? They look at the college and they go there for the college. But if it is a college where probably it's not well recognized in everything, then I would say the scope is, I mean, the placement opportunities are going to be limited, and the scope is whatever the scope of opportunities is within that city where the college is, right? So I would always say in those kind of cases, tell the student to prioritize the college or the university over the course.
Thank you for the reply, ma'am. Sapna ma'am is asking career options for with the PCMB and ICT.
PCMB, I understand. IC, can you elaborate what the IC is here?
ITC, ICT, ma'am. It is technology.
Oh, information ICT. You said okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Information.
yeah.
Yeah. So if you have PCMB and ICT, then you have a lot of things open to you. I mean, if you also have, if you have PCM, you have math. You have pretty much everything open to you. You can give business entrance exams. You can give engineering entrance exams. If you have bio, you can take in medical. So yeah, pretty much everything is open. I don't think anything is limited if you have this combination. You can take anything.
Ma'am, another teacher is asking, is it open to only counseling teachers or psychologists also?
No, so this is open to any teacher or a counselor who wants to guide students and who has access to students, right? So because we will train you, we will give you a referral code. Then you, if you have students, so if you're a teacher, it will help because you already have that student community that's coming to you for guidance. But it'll help you if you already have that student community who's coming to you for guidance. Now, if you're a psychologist, if you are a teacher, I think for us that won't matter that much. But you will have to have relationship with the students to be able to get them to the platform.
What about languages? They're asking, ma'am.
The platform is in English, so I mean the students and the teachers need to be comfortable with English. That's what I would say. Is that the
Uh,
question, or
yes,
what?
ma'am.
If
Yes, ma'am.
okay, sure.
Yes, yes. One more, I mean, Aman sir is asking career options. One second, ma'am. Career options for physical education.
Career
Will they?
options for,
Yeah,
okay,
physical
sure.
education.
No, yeah, absolutely. So if somebody is interested in physical education, I mean, we call them winner take all careers. So one of them are definitely being an athlete or a sports person in your field, right? So, but these are very any of these professions, whether it's acting, music, sports, these are winner take alls, which means that if you become successful, you really become successful, and if you don't become successful, then you don't, right? There is no nothing called average here. So that is one, so that's why it's called a little bit risky. Apart from that, the standard ones, right? If you want to go in defense, physical education will definitely help you. If you want to go in the field of fitness, right, like gym, these days fitness again has taken a massive boost, I would say, with the fitness awareness. So gym trainers, all of that will again be a option here. But definitely the person needs to be really interested in fitness, I would say, and defense is another option that I can think of.
Thank you for the reply, ma'am. Maria ma'am is asking any scope for commerce postgraduate?
Absolutely. Somebody who has done post graduation in commerce, right? That's what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, absolutely. A huge scope, right? I mean, pretty much the whole business sector, right? Especially with the startup economy booming and also your corporate sector. Commerce graduates can take, I would say, jobs in the field of HR, which is human resources. They can go and do product management. Now, I would say one of the things that generic degrees like BCom or an MCom do not do is give you a specific skill set, right? The students might feel lost as to I'm not categorized into a specific field. In those cases, you should recommend them upskilling courses, right? So a lot of companies today, whether it's Upgrad, whether it's an academy, I have seen that they've launched really good courses where they give you like a 5 6 month course and then you get placed accordingly, right? So if the student is feeling lost, that hey, I've done this degree but I don't know, I'm not getting any placement, tell them to do that, and that automatically takes care and gives them a foot in the door. And from there they can grow, right? So that's another way of somebody who's feeling lost after their graduation or post graduation.
Thank you for the reply, ma'am. Suniti ma'am is asking, please tell for political science too.
Oh, political science too, right? A lot of times I have seen political science students, they take up political science when they want to do civil services, right? Now, if they love political science, they should absolutely try for civil services, whether it's UPSC at the central level or whether it is at the state level, right? That is one option that I would say. Otherwise, again, I would count this as generic degree, which keeps a lot of options open. So, based on students' interest, students can either do any of 6 month to 1 year upskilling courses and go into the field of different departments which don't need technical knowledge. So, if I were to look at a company or a corporate sector, right, apart from your typical technology or engineering, a lot of roles don't need any technical knowledge. For example, marketing, right, HR, or operations or sales, right? These are the skills that people usually learn on the job itself, right? So if somebody has done that degree and they don't want to go into the civil services side or law, right? People after political science also go for law, but if they don't want to go to these standard options, then they need to enter the corporate sector through an upskilling program and then find their way within the company and learn on the job. That's what I would say.
Thank you for the reply, ma'am. Neha ma'am is asking, I have arts and now I want to learn coding and UI UX kind of course. Could you suggest me any platform for it?
Absolutely. So for UI UX, I think I know that Upgrad and Unacademy do it. So those are the standard ones. I'm telling them because those are the ones that I've seen and they really have good ones. So there is one called Relevel by Unacademy. I've seen their UI UX design course. It's absolutely amazing. And the good part I like about it is that it allows you to sit for the job placements and enter into the corporate world through those job placements, right? So that gives you a foot in the door if you're looking for UI UX. Otherwise, a lot of people do it through YouTube as well, but that doesn't give you that proper structure of just going and like having a mentor sitting for the placements. So if you want to do that properly and you're serious about it, then just do a relevel by an academy is what I would recommend. Asha, any other questions? Hello. Okay, what
Hello,
is
ma'am.
yeah,
Ma'am,
sorry, Hari.
yeah, what is the career path for an educational technologist?
Educational technologist. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry, I think we couldn't hear you in the middle. What is the career
oh,
path for an
sorry about
educational? No, no worries. For an educational technologist, I would say a lot again. EdTech is one of the sectors that has boomed, right? While the industry was going down, I think EdTech was the only one of the very few sectors that was going up, right? And with very innovative career curriculum designers, right? So when I was working in White Hat, and I know in other EdTech companies like Baiju, Vedantu, everywhere, you have these positions of curriculum designers, right? So, and especially with schools also coming online, there are a lot of roles of how do you teach online, how do the lesson plans come online, right? Now it's a new sector. There is no standard career path, but if somebody is into the field of education and technology, they should absolutely look to work in an edtech company, and then on the curriculum side and grow from there.
Rajni ma'am is asking fee for assessment for students. What would be the
Absolutely.
fee for? Yeah.
Absolutely. So, as I said, we charge a one-time fee of 500 rupee per students. But apart from that, you can choose to charge whatever you want to charge your student, right? So, the way the app works, the student sees the price that you are quoting for your services. And at the back end, we would deduct 500 rupee for every student as the platform fee. So we will charge 500 rupee for the assessment, and the rest of whatever the charge that you quote goes to you.
Thank you for
And
the reply,
usually,
ma'am.
and usually our counselors quote somewhere between 3,000 to 5,000 per student. That's what usually the counselors quote, but it's your choice.
Anita ma'am is asking, please suggest career options for PCM with engineering graphics.
With PCM with engineering graphics, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
yeah.
if that is if that's the, I would recommend the person to take engineering, and while the person is in the engineering college, probably go for mechanical engineering or industrial design, right? Industrial design is a very upcoming field in many of the engineering colleges, so pick that. And if the person doesn't really want to go into an engineering college, then the other would be to go into either an architecture or a design college, right? That's what I would recommend. So if they go into a design college, they can do away with typical design fields like interior, fashion, etc. They should just focus on product design as their major in a design college. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the reply. Archana ma'am is asking career in data science or cloud security. Which one has more scope in the future?
Data science or cloud security. See, we will not select one over the other, but what I can definitely say is that data science is for people who may not really be deep into coding, but they love numbers and they love getting business insights out of those numbers. So it is at the intersection of business understanding and mathematics, whereas your cloud security is for somebody who is deep into coding, right? So it depends on the person's passion and interest. If they love coding, they can go into cloud security. If they don't enjoy coding that much, but they like to get into business insights and business understanding at the back of the data and love math, they should go for data science.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the reply. Mr. Singh wants to know career options for special education.
Career options for special education, I mean, somebody who wants to build a career in special education, is that the question here?
Ma'am, he has typed in that much only, ma'am.
Okay, no worries. So, based on my understanding, Mr. Singh, I would say in India probably limited career options. But I was talking to somebody in the government, right, where they are building a policy for special education needs, right? So if and when the policy comes, I mean, there could be multiple careers as the, I think Indian government is doing a lot in terms of its educational policies that have been revamping again and again. So when that comes, I'm sure we'll have more visibility on what that looks like. But today, I would say it's very limited. But yeah, if you're specifically looking for it, there might be opportunities in different schools, universities, but not it's not mainstream in India yet. Definitely.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the reply. One more question, ma'am. Career options in MA in astrology.
Career options in
Something
MA
different.
and
different.
now you have picked a very niche field already, which is astrology. So I think the career option is very very straight away, right? I know of a company where it's called Astro Talk, and they're doing really well. So I think probably that is the one that you can go and check out for. But yeah, I mean, the career option here is astrology. Again, not, I wouldn't say it's mainstream, but I would definitely say there is scope in it. Right now, people who are after astrology are really after astrology. So that there's definitely scope for it. And if you're looking to look for companies who hire in that space, Astro Talk is one of them.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the reply. Kumar Sharma sir is asking career opportunity for post graduation with history.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Career opportunity
Career opportunity post graduation with history.
with post graduation with history.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, right? So one is, see, whenever you pick a subject, be it any subject, history, geography, doesn't matter. But when you pick a subject, there are two ways to go about it. One is that you say that, hey, I'm going to become an expert and go into the education field, right? So you end up doing a PhD. You can become a professor of history in a college, or like that is, and become like a researcher or scholar and all of that. That is one way of going about it. The second is that you say that, hey, I'm going to pick a career in this field. Now, if you're doing that, a lot of students who like history have also loved to become lawyers. Right now, if you're thinking of picking a mainstream career, then law goes really well with history, and a lot of people liking history really like law. Or you go into civil services, those are the mainstream careers. But if you're not looking for mainstream careers, then yes, then there are things like archaeology, right? Or governmental departments which deal with culture, heritage, history, and all of that. Or I would also say movie making, right? When there are a lot of movies being made on history, so you will have to see where to apply that subject when you are specializing in a subject, right? And that application can be across, and you have to pick what you want to do. If it is education, then yeah, go on the PhD track. If it is something in the corporate sector, then go on to what kind of like law or something like that. If not, then you go into specific departments who might be needing people with specific knowledge on history. Those are the parts that I would see.
Thank you for the reply, ma'am. There is I think, a big question or a long sentence, ma'am. Wrinkle, ma'am, is asking like, is there any higher educational career scope available for a person who has 5 degrees, such as BCom, MCom, ECC, ED, B.Ed, pursuing M.Ed, and PhD aspirant?
I would say there are multiple, right? Like if you have 5 degrees, then obviously there is a lot of scope. The question to be asked here is, what is it that you want to do with that one life that you have, right? Now if you've done all of that, my question would be, obviously, if you have a PhD, what is the topic of your PhD, right? Now that can give us hints into what you really want to do, and what kind of things do you specialize in. But I think the question, if you have so much pedigree, the question to ask here is, what is it that you want to do? And probably you can get into any of the professions, right? As I said again, like if somebody is thinking of entering into the corporate sector, mainstream careers, pretty much apart from being like a doctor or a hardcore engineer, a lot of things are learned in today's world on the job, right? So it's important for students as well as anybody thinking of building a successful career to talk about, hey, what am I interested in? And a lot of questions I'm getting is on the scope, right? Scope comes when you are interested in something, and you are willing to put in the hard work behind it, right? So it's, in our app also, we put a lot of effort and emphasis on the interest and passion, because once you have that, then except for, yeah, 3 4 careers that I talked about, right? Doctor, hardcore engineering, etc., a lot of mainstream careers people learn on the job. Whether you talk about being a designer, being a marketer, being a being a HR person or anything, right? So yeah, I mean, I know it's a very open-ended answer that I've given, but yeah, I think the question there would be to go to the Softplay app, do the different careers, figure out what you're passionate about, and from there start to pick and build a career in that field, because this, like, you can pretty much do anything with these degrees.
Yes, ma'am. I think we have exhausted the questions, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. No, I'm very glad that we are very well in time right now. If we since we have a little bit time here, I would just want to reiterate. Harsha, did we send across this link, this form link to everybody? Have we sent
Yes,
across
ma'am.
it?
Yes, ma'am. I have sent
We
it,
have.
ma'am. I have already sent it out.
Yeah, can you resend it just in case in case somebody
Yes,
missed
ma'am.
it?
Just give
Uh,
me a moment.
yeah, so my request would be, if you're interested in becoming a counselor with us, getting trained on these careers, and then helping students come to the right career options, then you should fill this form and make sure you're giving us your email IDs and phone numbers so that we can share the next steps with you. And once you are on it, you will get a referral code from our side, and your students can start using the app accordingly. That is one. In case you have specific questions, you can put it in the form itself, where there is a question around, put in your questions. But in case you would like to get in touch with us, you can do that through email or contact@software.in, or you can WhatsApp us on this number. Again, very available to answer all of this, right? And in case you would like
Ma'am,
to,
one last question. One last question from Archana, ma'am.
okay,
Please, may you share about the value of online degrees?
value of online degrees. Absolutely, because this question comes to me a lot, right? Like, what is the value of an online degree? If you look at the latest policy that the government released, right, where they said that we are recognizing you could do two degrees in parallel, and it doesn't matter whether it's offline or online. That tells us that the recognition of online degrees is increasing. I know parents and teachers put a lot of emphasis on offline education, and I think that should happen because that leads to personality development, right? But if you're just looking for skill set building and a recognition or a certification, once somebody has done their degree, and if they're doing a 1 year online course to upskill themselves, I would say it's a great opportunity for somebody to build a career, right? So if you're doing an online degree from a recognized brand, like some of the brands that you're all aware of, right? If you're doing that, then I would say there is value in it, and a lot of them have very successfully helped thousands of people get jobs in the corporate sector and connect to the main world, right? Somewhere I would also say that these online degrees are filling in the gap that our higher education system has created by not being able to upskill the students and connect them to the careers. But yeah, those that gap is being filled by the private sectors and mostly in the online space. So I'm completely pro the online degree if you are doing it in addition to your normal degree to upskill yourself and get a job.
Uh, yes, ma'am. Thank you, Swati ma'am, for a very engaging and informative session for our community of teachers. I'm sure that our teachers have got a lot of takeaways from this session. Thank you so much, all the participants, for engaging with us today. To register for more such upcoming webinars, please visit my center. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, and I look forward to people, filling in the form and letting us know of their interests, and accordingly,